Hi everybody, it's Storytime Saturday again, and the title of this story, well, it's a traditional retelling of a story, and it's called The Leaky Bucket. So as ever, how is this story speaking into your life? There was once a beautiful garden, and the gardener was really proud of his garden. He cared for it with great tenderness and love. Every day, he would make the journey to his little garden shed at the very, very far end of the garden, and there he would fill up his buckets with clear, sparkling water from the nearby stream. Then he would walk along the little pathway to where the flowers and the flower beds were, and he'd carry water for those flowers. Now, to water his flowers, he used two buckets, which he kept in the garden shed. One was bright, shiny. It was a new bucket, recently bought from the garden centre. One was a very old and rather dilapidated bucket, which he'd had for many, many years, and he'd served the garden well with that bucket, but it was now well past its sell-by date. The gardener would fill up the two buckets every morning and carry them along side by side to the flower beds. The bright, shiny bucket was really proud of itself. It could be relied upon to carry the full consignment of the water right up to the flower beds without spillage, and not a single drop ever spilt. The shabby old bucket, well, felt ashamed in comparison. It knew it had holes in it, and every morning it was so sad to see that by the time the gardener reached the flower beds, a great deal of its water had already been spilled out along the path and was wasted. Sometimes the two buckets would talk to each other as the gardener carried them along the path to the water beds. "See how efficient I am," the shiny bucket would boast. "How good that the gardener has me to make sure the flowers are watered every day. I don't know why he bothers with you. You're a waste of space. You've got holes and you're rusty." And all that the shabby bucket would say was, "I know, I'm not much use, but I can only do my best. I'm happy that the gardener still finds a little bit of use for me, even if it's only a little bit." One day, the gardener heard this conversation going on between the two buckets. When he reached the flower beds, he watered the flowers as usual, using the full bucket of water from the shiny bucket and the little bit that was left in the old bucket. Then he picked up both buckets, now empty, and said to them, "Thank you both. You have done your day's work very well, and now I'm going to carry you back to the shed. But as we go, I want you to look carefully at the pathway." So the two buckets did as the gardener asked them, and they noticed that all along the path on one side, well, the side where the gardener carried the shiny new bucket, there was just bare earth. But on the other side, the side where the gardener carried the leaky old rusty bucket, there was a row of young, fresh green shoots, which in another few weeks would be a joyous row of wildflowers leading all the way to the garden. And so, the story of the two buckets. Which one are you? Take care, everybody. God bless.